Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is Style in V, and this is a tutorial on how to draft a princess, that's Bustier. Okay, so if it's something you're interested in, kindly stay tuned and watch this video. So let's get started. So from the top of my pattern paper, I will come down by 10 inches, which is my bust point. Okay, as you can see me right here, I'll go ahead and mark my bust point. I'll be marking out two tiny lines so that I'll be able to connect a straight line after then. So after marking out my bust point, I will go ahead and mark my under bust, which is 14 inches right here. Okay, and I'll go ahead and mark. So the next line I'll be marking is my half length. Okay, so for this tutorial I'll be stopping at my half length, and if you want to do yours, you can go ahead and stop at your blouse length or wherever length you want it to stop. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and mark my half length right here, and when I'm done marking it out, I'll go ahead and connect all my lines together. Starting from the bust point. I'll connect it horizontally like this, and also my under bust right here and my half length. Okay, as you can see me doing right here. And the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to label them. Okay, I'll go ahead and label them: my bust point, my under bust, and my half length right here. Okay, so after that I'll go ahead and mark my neck width, and I'll be using a neck width of 3 inches right here. And I'll proceed to divide my shoulder measurement by 2, and whatever I have I'll go ahead and mark, and I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope right here. Okay, and I'll go ahead and connect it to meet my neck width like this, as you can see me doing right here. And the next thing I will go ahead to do is to get my armhole depth, and by getting that, you go ahead and divide your bust circumference by 6 and you add 1.5 inches. And when I'm done, I'll go ahead and mark, and on this line I will place my shoulder measurements on this same line so that I'll be able to have a straight line, and I'll connect them like this. Okay, so now this is now my chest line. So the next thing for me to do is to get the midpoint of this armhole depth like this. Okay, and I'll go ahead and mark it right here, and I'll come in by 1/2 inch. Okay, and on this chest line I will divide my bust circumference by 4 inches, and I'll mark on this chest line. So the next thing for me to do is to get my armhole curve, and I'll connect from the 1 inch shoulder slope to meet this 1/2 inch right here, and using the curvy side of my ruler I'll connect it to meet my bust circumference that I marked on the chest line like this. Okay, so the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to mark out my neckline depth, and I'll be using 3 inches for the neckline depth. So this depends on whatever neckline shape that you want to use. Okay, so it mustn't be this round neckline. So the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to mark out my nipple to nipple, that is half of my nipple to nipple, on my bust point, my under bust, and my half length. Okay, my nipple to nipple is 8 inches and half of it is 4 inches. So I'm marking out 4 inches on my bust point, my under bust, and my half length right here, and I'll go ahead and connect all the lines together like this. Now on my under bust, on the side moving to the neckline, I'll go ahead and mark 1/2 inch on my under bust and on my waistline, and on the side leading to the side of the dress I'll go ahead and mark 1.5 inches right here. Okay, so making it 2 inches that I took. Now I'll go ahead and connect the two lines together right here. Okay, so this is for the under bust tightening. So the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to come down by 1 inch from my bust point, and I'll mark, and using the curvy side of my ruler like this, I'll connect from this 1 inch to meet my under bust on the two sides that I took. Okay, I'll go ahead and use the curvy side of my ruler to connect it like so. Okay, giving it a C shape, as you can see me doing right here. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to get the midpoint of my armhole, which I've already done that earlier, and from this midpoint I will use the curvy side of my ruler, place it like this as you can see, and connect it to meet my bust point. Okay, you go ahead and place it like this, and you connect it to meet your bust point right here, and from this midpoint I will come down I'll come down by 2 inches for my armhole tightening, and I'll connect it to meet my bust point like this, okay? As you can see me doing right here. To meet my bust point, placing my ruler like this, okay? The curvy side of my ruler, I'll go ahead and connect it to meet my bust point like this, okay? As you can see me doing right here. So the next thing for me to do is to come up by 2 inches, okay? That is, we are replacing the 2 inches that we took on the armhole area. We'll go ahead and come up by 2 inches on that line like this, okay? And you reconnect it. You go ahead and reconnect the 2 inches to meet that line like this, okay? As you can see right here, so that when you're joining your both sides and center, it will not be short, like, you know, the both sides will be equal. Yeah, that was actually why I came up by 2 inches. And the next thing for me to do is to reconnect the armhole like this, okay? So this is now our new armhole. So all these parts will be eliminated, like they won't be parts of the pattern. All these parts that you see me marking out the stripes on them, they won't be parts of the pattern, okay? So the next thing for me to do is to divide my bust circumference on this chest line area by 4, and I'll go ahead and mark. Now I'll replace the 2 inches that we took earlier as our darts on the chest line, okay? I'll go ahead and replace it there. And on the waistline, I will divide my waist circumference by 4, and I'll go ahead and mark. Now I'll be replacing the 2 inches that I took as my darts on the waistline, okay, right here. And I'll go ahead and connect all of them together like this, okay? As you can see me doing right here. So this is all for the front pattern drafting, okay? So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to add my allowance, okay? I'll just go ahead and add my sewing allowance straight on this pattern, okay? So that I'll go ahead and add 2 inches sewing allowance to the side of this pattern, okay? But you can do yours directly on your fabric, and it's, if you do not want to do it on your pattern paper, okay, go ahead and mark 2 inches for my sewing allowance right here, okay? As you can see me doing right here. So I'll go ahead and add the 2 inches on my chest line and on my waistline like this, and I'll go ahead and connect it together like this, as you can see me doing right here, and I'll reconnect the lines like this, okay? So this is all for our front pattern, and the next thing for me to do is just to cut out this pattern for you guys to see how it is, okay? So any parts that you do not see here, it's a parts that will not be needing. So look at how I am cutting all these parts off, okay? So these are the parts that will be needing for the front piece, okay? These two pattern are the parts that will be needing for the front piece, okay, right here. So that's all for the front piece, and remember to cut them on fold when you want to cut them on your fabric, okay? So the next one is to draft the back pattern, and the first thing I will go ahead to do is to mark out the zipper allowance. So you can go ahead and mark 1.5 inches zipper allowance, but from this tutorial I'll be marking out 1 inch zipper allowance, okay? And I'll go ahead and take it down to meet my half length, okay? I'll just go ahead and roll like a straight line to the half length or the length of your top, okay? So the next thing I'll go ahead and mark is my bust point. I remember I said my bust point is 10 inches, so I'll go ahead and mark my bust point as you can see me doing right here. And after marking out my bust point, the next line to mark is my waistline, which is my half length, okay? So this will not be having an underbust because this is a back pattern, okay? So there's no need of having an underbust right here. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to connect the lines together like this, okay? As you can see me doing right here, I'll go ahead and connect the lines together, both the half length and the bust point, okay? As you can see me doing right here, and I'll label them the bust point and the half length. So the next thing I will do is to get my neck width, which is 3 inches, and I'll go ahead and mark, and also divide my shoulder measurement by 2, which is 7.5, and I'll go ahead and mark, and I'll come down by 1 inch on my shoulder slope. And for the neck depth, I'll be using 1 inch for my neck depth, okay? So I'll go ahead and connect my necklines together like this, and also connect my shoulder slope like this, okay, as you can see me doing right here. And the next thing for me to do is to get my armhole depth like this, and I'll go ahead and mark. So, and on the chest line area, I'll go ahead and replace my shoulder measurement there, so that I'll be able to get a straight line, and I'll extend this line, okay, like so. So the next thing for me to do is just to mark out my armhole curve. So for this particular back pattern, we are not coming in by 1/2 of an inch because this is the back pattern, okay. So the next thing for us to do right here is to extend the chest line, okay. I'm going to extend the chest line to meet the midpoint of my pattern paper, like so. So this is where my darts will be starting from, and from this chest line I'll go ahead and take 1/2 of my nipple to nipple measurement, and I'll place it on the chest line, the bust point, and on the under bust, like this, okay. And I'll go ahead and connect all the lines together like this. So on the waistline, I'll come in by 0.7 inch as my dart right here, okay. And I'll go ahead and connect it to meet the chest line area like this, okay. So this is what we have as our dart. And the next thing for me to do is to divide my bust circumference by 4, and whatever I have, I will place it here. Now look at where my tape is, okay. I'll go ahead and place it on my chest line, and the next thing for me to do is to divide my waist circumference by 4, and I'll mark, and I'll replace my darts of 1.5 inches. Remember, we took 0.75 on both sides, so the two of them will make it 1.5 inches, okay. And I'll go ahead and replace it, and I'll connect it like this. So after that, I'll go ahead and add my allowance, 2 inches sewing allowance. Remember, we added 2 inches to the front, and the same thing will be adding to the back allowance like this, okay. So this is what we have. So after that, we'll be eliminating our zipper bulge, okay. Now on the waistline, I will come in by 1/2 of an inch right here, and I will mark. Now after that, I'll reconnect it slantly. Look at how I am placing my ruler. I'll reconnect it to meet the neckline like this, okay. I'll reconnect it to meet the neckline like this, okay, as you can see me doing right here. So all these places that I'm putting this marking this stripe, we will not be needing them in our pattern, and I'll extend the neckline to meet the zipper allowance, okay. So this is basically all for our back pattern, and remember to cut this on fold too, okay. Yes, we'll be cutting this on fold. So if you have watched to this point, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, okay. And thank you so much. So these are all our patterns, both the front and back, okay. So if you watch this point, thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.